Yo, 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 welcome to Crate 808, and today we are honoured to have a bona fide hip-hop mogul in the hot seat. An entrepreneur who shipped the 36 chamber into our bedrooms, told us how to ante up while tearing up the club and protect our necks by not being shook ones. A man who sold 200 million albums with minimum radio play, founder of Loud Records and promotional pioneer, Steve Rifkind is in the house. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm great. How are you?
Man, all the better to hear your voice during this quarantine, mate, and to have you on and talk to us.
No, I mean, it's actually perfect timing, just, working out of the house, and actually my dog got hurt. So I'm taking care of my dog, and it's literally the perfect time to do something.
Oh, damn. Well, how's the dog? What happened?
I don't know. He ruptured a disc. His two back legs were paralyzed for a second. He had to go for surgery, but now he's running around and walking around. He's good. He goes to therapy twice a week. I got to take him to therapy in 45 minutes, and he's good.
Oh, man. Damn. So sorry to hear that, man. But no, glad that he's on the mend. And I'm just going to kick off the whole thing with what we usually ask every guest. What's the least hip-hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours, Steve?
The least hip-hop thing? Shit. That's a great question. I don't know. I watched a stupid show on TV last night.
Which show was that?
It's called The Baker. I don't know. Baker and the Beauty. She was beautiful.
How was the baking?
I don't know. I mean, I just watched it. I mean, it was nothing about hip hop on, regarding that show.
That's fair enough. And man, how are you doing with the whole coronavirus lockdown, everything? How are you coping with it?
I'm coping. I'm concerned about my mom. She's high risk. She's 86 with emphysema. So I'll just make sure that she's okay. She only lives a few minutes away from me, and make sure that I'm okay. I'm also high risk. I had a heart attack a few years ago. So the only time I ever really leave the house is to walk the dogs and to get food.
Damn, how are you dealing with that mentally? Like, are you finding things to keep you occupied? Have you got lots of work on?
I got some work. I reunited with my old high school basketball team.
Wow. Okay.
So we're going in our 40-year reunion. So it's been fun. We have a weekly call once a week, and there's 4 of us, and we have a great time.
Oh man, that's good to hear. Funny how these things kind of emerge in these circumstances, right?
Exactly,
man. But Steve, right? I'm just going to start at the top. Why hip hop? I look at your history, and it is you have got musical influences for generations in your family. Why hip-hop? What did you find in this music and culture that you couldn't find in anywhere else?
I mean, it was something that attracted me. I remember, Russell walking into my dad's office for the first time, and just his energy. And just, I was always attracted to the energy of the street. So that's really, what I knew. I never considered myself an A&R person. I always considered myself a promotion person.
Because when we look at Loud Records, that era that you founded in 1991. First of all, I'd love to know, because there's a lot of stories about Loud, and I've heard you on a lot of interviews, and you give great interviews, man. But I'd love to know for our listeners, what was it with the birth of Loud? What was your initial kind of feelings about setting this company up, and where did you see it heading?
The funny thing is, I never even really wanted a label. I was good with the Stephen Rifkind company, which was the promotion company. And then my dad explained to me, the difference between having an asset and being in the service business. So that's when I started Loud. And like I said, I never considered myself an A&R guy. I always considered myself a promotion person. And I knew how to read records on the street. So it wasn't like when I started Loud, we knew it was going to be a hip hop label, and we knew we were going to take records, from the street. But it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to have this type of label or that type of label. I just felt what was good to us, what felt right for us.
So that's interesting, because when you say that, when you look back at, this is an era of massive entrepreneurship, a lot of people making a lot of money, but also creating a lot of amazing art. When you look at other labels that were emerging around the same time or just after you guys came up, what do you think kind of separated yourself from the likes of Death Row and Bad Boy and Rockefeller and all the numerous other labels?
What separated us from, we were like Switzerland. We never had a beef with anybody, never had a beef with Suge, Hell Puff, navigate not Clive, but the BMG corporate levels. And I had the promotion company. So we were dealing with everybody, and people say I have a big personality, but I wasn't trying to be a celebrity. Puff is, to this day, Puff. Russell is Russell. Jay is Jay. Suge and Dre was Suge and Dre, and I wasn't one that, even though I got press, I wasn't trying to get the press. I didn't need to be on stage. I didn't need to say a speech. So I think that's what made us a little bit different. And like I said, we were Switzerland. We didn't have a problem with anybody, because we had the marketing company and we were promoting half of everybody's records anyway.
Yeah. This is the stat that I heard, that was it from like 88 or 89 to like almost the end of the 90s. You like almost had a hand in every record.
Exactly.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. So just for the listeners, just to realize the context of what we're doing right now, right? Let me list these real quick. Twista, Alcoholics, Wu-Tang Clan, Big Pun, Mobb Deep, Xzibit, 36 Mafia, MOP, Pete Rock, Dead Prez. Right, there's so many on this list I've got. When I look at Loud, and I look as a kid when I was growing up in the UK.
That's Loud, but you forget about the SRC records after I sold Loud.
That's what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. That you thought that platform, which is that's not just a label to me. That's an era. That's a badge of honor. If I was a kid and I saw a CD and it had Loud on the back, bang, I'm already invested. And looking back now, I think when I look back and I think that this was so entrenched in the streets, like that kind of era and that trademark that you guys had built and that brand. I'd love to know, right? All these guests I have on this show, and they come on and they come from really different backgrounds to myself and as to you. But as someone who doesn't come from like the streets like these artists did, how did you even start tapping into that world and then also stay genuine to the art form and not be what a lot of people call nowadays to different people culture vultures and stuff like that? Like, how did you navigate all of that?
To me, it was, like I said, first I never considered myself an A&R guy, right? So for them to make the music, I was never in the studio. I gave them full creative control on what they wanted to sound like. That's number one. Number two, I didn't grow up on the street. My dad had a very successful label. So when they came in and they wanted to come with the plan, I would very rarely say no. And I would add to the plan if they needed it. But otherwise, it was really about communication, trust, and transparency. And I told them, I'm going to go to the wall for you guys, and I expect the same in return. And then the A&R guys I brought in, I feel they were the best in the business. It was a team of Matty C and Scott Free, and then we brought in Sean C and Mike D. But Scott and Matty really, Matty came from the source with, and he's the one that wrote about Biggie the first time. He's the one that wrote about DMX the first time before anybody. So, and Scott, grew up in Shaolin, Staten Island, so he grew up with the Wu, and, him and Matty were literally an incredible dynamic team together.
I hear a lot of this. A lot of this is about collaboration and working together. No one seems to have made a record on their own. Do you know what I mean?
And that was from, the A&R side. And then on the promotion side, I had a guy by the name of Mojo Nicosia. And then we brought in my brother, and the two of them together, I would put, to this day, even though they're both not in promotion anymore, I would put them two up today against anybody.
It's an interesting team to look at, because when you look at street teams generally, these people may not have been talked about. And these are the kind of cogs in the machine that got the music to my bedroom. And that to me is fascinating. And you boys just absolutely smashed it, man. Your team's absolutely smashed it. You kind of reinvented the game. But then it makes me think about your kind of history in the game and your kind of history and the stuff I've realised as I've grown older where, wow, Steve Rifkind's a legend. Yeah, of course he is. But I did not know, for instance, you were like rooming with Tupac. You were talking to other hip-hop legends at the same level at that time. Just break down that relationship, like especially with someone like Tupac. Why were you even rooming with Tupac?
Interscope gave me my first retainer. And Tupac's first album was through Interscope, not Death Row.
So is this Tupacalypse Now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Banging album.
And we ended up, going on the road with Tupac. So we would go on the road like from Thursday to Sunday, get back to LA. So he would stay with me until we went back on the road again.
And how was he? How was that young Pac?
He was amazing. I mean, he would be in the office with us every single, when we were in the office, he would be in the office with us, packing records, shipping records, signing letters to the DJs.
That's crazy.
I mean, he was unbelievable. We would all smoke cigarettes and blunts on the floor. I mean, it wasn't a big office. and he would be on the floor with us packing up records.
That is mad, man. That is mad. I mean, that's the thing. When you have someone like that and you see them go on to do what they did you ever think he would be that big, as big as he got to?
Yeah. After Brenda's got a baby, I mean, he was amazing.
Then if we talk about Pac, and then you talk about the other people that you got actually on the label though, to work on your label, man, I got to start. There's a lot of people want to talk about, but tell me about Big Pun, man. Big Pun. Did you really sign Big Pun off a freestyle?
I don't even think it was a freestyle, to be honest with you. I think Maddie and Free were in my office, and they were never in the office. So I'm like, what are you guys doing here? They said, don't you have a meeting with Pun? And when they showed up for that meeting, I was like, this kid's the truth. So the second they walked in, I was like, Joe, you got a deal. And everybody looked at me like I had 3 fucking heads.
What was it about it then? What made you do it? I mean, that's a lot of good instincts if you're just doing it.
Well, I mean, it was the instinct that Maddie and Free were stuck-up hip-hop guys. They were the king of the world. And like I said, if I called the meeting at 3 o'clock, I'm just, I would be lucky if they showed up at 6.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then Pun going on to do what he did and absolutely set the new bars, like set a whole new standard for bars.
The second Still Not a Player came, like I remember he played me the concept over the phone. He was with Maddie and Free. They called me, it was a Sunday. And they called me and said, this is the concept and I want to do a video. And that night they played me a beat, the concept, and we shot the video, and the rest is history. Again, it's about transparency, communication, and just being straight.
And Pun seemed quite straight, man. He seemed quite straight with you. When you look at Pun, and I don't know how many records that went on to sell, but that was everywhere here when that blew up. Just so I've got a little bit of context, right? Because when I hear about like Wu, and you like sold like 12 million albums off Wu and stuff like that on a single album, what were the levels of stardom in the 90s in terms of actual figures? So like, what's the difference between selling 3 to 5 million compared to selling something like 10 million? Like 3 to 5 million, does that get you, I don't know, an amazing house? Do you like are you recognized on the street? And then what's the difference to 10?
So what are you talking about as an artist, or are you talking about as a label?
As an artist, as an actual artist.
I mean, if you sell anywhere between 3 to 5 million, you're in not even the 1%, you're in the 0.5% class of success. Damn. So that means you're making a ton of money on shows. If you have any of the publishing, you're making a ton of money on publishing. If it's your first record, I'm sure you came in for cheap, so you're already recouped and you made a fortune, and then you're going to come in and renegotiate. So you're a superstar at 3 to 5 million.
Damn. So 10 basically makes you global like.
No, 3 to 5 made you global. 10 just made you Eminem.
Oh shit! Damn. Okay, because again, the barometers have shifted completely in 2020. Like, I could not tell you what like Travis Scott or someone like is actually selling, because obviously streaming and all this. So it's just good to get a bar on where we're at. Because as a kid, when you're hearing all these numbers being bandied about, after a while they all become kind of the same. You're like, okay, so Pac did this, Biggie did this, that, and yeah, it's just kind of nice to hear the context coming from yourself. To the label though, what did that do to a label? If you get one artist selling 3 million, what is that to Loud then?
A lot of money, but you had to keep it up. 3 million. If we did 3 million, so that's 30 million in billing. That should pay for everything, and then it should pay for all the other losses, and everything else should be gravy.
And to think you have that stable I just listed off there. Man, Steve, you smashed it, bro. You absolutely smashed it.
Hey, yo, this your boy Farrell March, and right now, you are rocking live with the Crate 808 podcast. Enjoy this week's episode, and just remember to subscribe and rate and review. Peace.
But come on, man, let's go. I need to talk about my favorite group, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners' favorite group, the Wu-Tang, man. Tell me your first impressions of seeing that group.
It's funny that you even asked that. I'm writing my memoirs down, and I might do a book, I might do a document. I don't know. And I was just talking about it. I mean, I was in New York for my 31st birthday. You know, our offices were based in LA at the time. And RZA, he was known as Prince Rakeem, the receptionist, comes and says, Prince Rakeem is here looking for you. And I was with E Swift from the Alcoholics. And RZA comes in, we talk for 10, 15 minutes. He goes, the guys are downstairs, can they come up? So all the guys come up. We were in a small little office in RCA.
Well, the whole Wu come up.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what are you thinking there? Jesus Christ.
I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know if it was 8 guys, 4 guys, 3 guys. You know, I didn't know what it was, but, you know, they all come up, they play the record. Somebody comes barging into the office and says, that's that shit. And the rest is history.
Holy shit. But come on, that you can't have that many times, right? When someone actually comes in and just randomly barges in. That's amazing. When we talk about Wu then, if we're talking, there's just one thing before we go any further though. You know that I want to hear Wu-Tang again and again. That famous intro. Could you tell me where that's from? Like, I don't even know where that's from.
I want to say it came from Stretch and Bobbito's radio show.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, okay. So RZA just kind of pulled that one out of the bag, right?
Yeah.
Damn. So what was RZA like? I mean, was he seemed, obviously he's an incredibly intelligent person, but at that young age, when he came to you and with the Wu and obviously that amazing marketing deal and publishing deal you had with all the crew, was he quite open and receptive to your guidance then when he was young, when he first came?
No, I was actually getting guidance from him, because he would come in every day and say, these are the things that we have to do. And then he would say, why do you say yes, everything? Because I'm saying it, and this is, again, the transparency and the honesty, because it's making sense, so it made sense. And then the thing is, if I couldn't do something, I wouldn't dance him. I would say, hey, RC doesn't want to do this. Let me, let me see how else I could go around and do it. Don't forget, I had the marketing company. So if RCA said no, I might take dollars out of my marketing company and say, hey, you know what? I can't give you $20,000, but here's $5,000. Let's see if we could get it done for this price.
When we look at the Wu, and obviously they went on and did all the deals they did, interesting to know from your perspective, when Cuban Links was about to come out, why did Raekwon choose to stay? Or why was he the act that was on Loud instead of maybe like taking his solo career to another label or something like that? Or even were then other labels looking at Ray at that time?
That's what me and RZA discussed. When Method Man went to Def Jam and Jizza went to Geffen, I was like, I need Raekwon. Okay.
Was he your number one choice at that time, right?
Yeah.
Why was that? What was it in Ray that you saw?
His lyrics. He was coming off of Cream.
He just shone on that track completely. So that was the guy that you wanted on Loud. That's understandable, man. When we talk about other people in Wu, like ODB, man. ODB is a podcast favorite. Like, we have so many stories. We miss him, man. We miss him. What are your favorite memories of ODB, man?
A few things. He broke his foot jumping off the stage on a show, and we were doing our first show in LA, and he goes, man, I got to stop with the girls, this, that, or whatever. I already got like 7 kids, just whatever. And we're leaving the show, and he's in a cast and crutches. And this is even before the album came out. This was, I want to say, October of '93. We're on Fairfax Avenue or Fairfax Boulevard, and we're at the light. It's 1:00 in the morning. And there are 3 women in the car next to us, and he jumps out of the car, jumps in the car with them.
Does he know them? Does it know them?
No. After he tells me that he has to stop it with the girls. Second thing is, the Grammys.
Oh, the '98 Grammys.
Wu-Tang is for the children, So it was like, we're having a cocktail party at the house. I already knew that we lost. And he goes, how come you're not going? I said, we lost. I don't want to sit there for 10 hours. He goes, what do you mean we lost? And he starts saying how he just bought the suit, this, that, or whatever.
Oh, shit. That was a dapper suit.
Yeah. And he goes on. He goes, Wu-Tang's for the children. And I lived across the street from Radio City. And then from there, he ran straight back to my house. And my phone, I had my phone, my wife's phone, cell phone, pager, and the doorbell rings.
Right.
And it's him. He goes, how'd I do? And me, him, and my wife and my son, who was, I think, maybe a year and a half old, all had dinner together.
Oh, my God. Was he wearing the same suit? Was he still wearing the suit?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
My days. Oh, ODB, man. I miss that boy. I miss him, man. I mean, do you remember that, like, What happened when he passed, man? Where were you? How did you hear about that?
So I was flying to New York, and the second I landed, a woman by the name of Charlene Thomas called me and said, "Did you hear?" I said, "Hear what?" I said, "I just, and they didn't have Wi-Fi on the plane yet, and I'm like, Dirty Pass. I'm like, huh? And I called Divine and RZA. They were at the studio, and I went straight. I didn't go to my house. I went straight to the studio, and his body was still there, pretty much, or his body was just, they were wheeling him out as I was walking in.
Damn, man. Rest in peace, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a shock then. It's still a shock when you look now, and man, for me, rap is lacking that wild card, that character, that. Yeah, just he set a lot of things in trend as well, I feel. I think he definitely set a trend for a lot of this. Be creative, do what you want to do in rap. And he still had bars, that's the thing.
Yeah, no question.
I appreciate you talking about that, man.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is DJ Premier, and you're checking out the Crates 808 podcast. I put an S on it because there's more than one record in the crate, you know what I'm saying? So that's how we dig, that's how we play, and that's what real DJs do. You heard? That's why it goes down. We out here.
So, Steve, man, there's one thing before we get on to the likes of Mobb and other people, but I'm wondering if you just play a little game with me, man. I look at your catalogue of people that you've had a hand in, and it's ridiculous. We could sit here for 5 hours dissecting all this. So I thought I'd like to hear where you're at right now, man. And if I listed you some absolute classics that you were involved in and getting to our shores over here, if you could sum these up with one word of what they still mean to you, if you had one word for each of these tracks, are you up for doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, man, let's go. So, Triumph.
Money.
Right. That's good. Great start. Twins. Snoop. Interesting. So you're not thinking of the Big Pun. Where were you when you heard that Big Pun line, by the way, the first time? Dead in the middle of Little Italy.
I heard it in the office. No, the only reason why I said Snoop, I think it was the first time that an East Coast rapper took a beat. We took the Snoop and Dr. Dre record.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, and some would argue made it better. Like, very rare to do that when it's Dre and Snoop involved at that time.
Yeah, I mean, the video was amazing. Everything, was amazing. So, but shit, if Snoop didn't set the bar, Pun would never have came with any,
That line, man. Still, to this day in London, if you hear that, it gets a rewind. Still, to this day, that's how amazing that track is. Okay, moving on. Ante Up.
Anthem.
Perfect. Protect Your Neck.
First one.
Shook Ones, Part 2.
Shook Ones, Parts. Smile. That brought a smile to my face.
Oh, man, that's good. I like that. Cream.
Follow Up.
Yeah, okay, like it. Tear the Club Up.
I would love to say Anthem, but I already said Anthem with Annie out. Movement,
love it. Drop a gem on them.
Favorite.
Oh, snap, Steve! Really? Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah,
man. Same here, man. I'm glad I have you with me there. Off the Books.
Feel Good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I listened to that this morning, by the way. My little 2-year-old was absolutely loving that beat. So there's something about that resonates, bro. And last but certainly not least, Ice Cream.
That's also Feel Good. Raekwon.
Nice. Steve smashed it, man. Absolutely smashed it. I love that. So, man, let's talk about it. Mobb, 25 years since Infamous. A lot of great write-ups, man, this year. Tell me how you feel about that record, especially right now. And then please tell me how you started that journey with Mobb. Where did your journey start?
The journey started in the office. Have came up, not with Prodigy, but with a few of, his crew. And a woman by the name of Tammy, I forgot her last name, brought them up to me. And I heard a record called Patty Shop. And I was like, this could be the perfect follow-up to a Wu-Tang record. And I just hired my first A&R guy by the name of Scott Free. And I already had Stretch Armstrong working with me. And they said, all right, we got to do this.
That was an amazing demo. When you hear that on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think Havoc went to the bathroom. He smoked. I don't know if it was a blunt or a cigarette, but the fire alarm went off and the water, right? And I was like, all right, then I realized this is the perfect group to follow up Wu-Tang.
Oh man, that's amazing. What a way to clinch a deal, man. What were you saying when Infamous came out? I mean, before we even dive into the album, tell me you've got one of them Hennessy shirts from the Survival of the Fittest video. Have you still got that?
No, that was only two. They only made them for themselves. My son made one.
Oh, you're joking. There are only two in existence. Well, now three in existence.
I'm sure there's more now. I'm sure there's some bootlegs. But yeah, I mean, they only made them for themselves.
And did they mean to spell it wrong? Like when I look at that?
No. I think that's what I thought it was spelled.
Oh, fair play. I thought they were trying to get around some trademark or something. But like, yeah, man. Yeah, that's amazing. So what do you think then? Like when you listen to album now, like...
I mean, somebody asked me the other day, this album could compete with any album that's out right now.
100%. Absolutely, yeah. Did you have a hand in getting Tip involved with Mobb, or was that all them?
It was a team effort, but it was mostly Matty and Free.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris Lighty started managing him, and then Chris was managing Tip. So I think it was just a real team effort. Yeah.
Do you know what's striking to me in this conversation, Steve, is just how humble you are, man. I love hearing it. It's an amazing legacy you've left us all to, just listen to and to show our kids, you know what I mean? And like grow with. So I appreciate you always talking about it being a team thing. Because that makes me feel good, because it makes me feel like, yeah, the people that are out there who aren't talked about, there are these people who set these cogs in motion for us, for this culture to kind of thrive to this day. So yeah, man, I appreciate your whole stance here. When we look at Loud Records though, when we look at like the dynasty you guys have left, is there like a year for Loud where you look back and go, yeah, that's the year for Loud?
I mean, I would say 95 to 97, 95 to 98. I don't know. I mean, in 95, we put out the Mobb in April, which last week, we put out Mobb's first album. And then in August, we put out Ray's Cuban Links album. And then we also had a Flex album that did extremely well. And, things were taking off like crazy.
Because when I look at... So did you guys start that? Because, again, this is a bit before my time, but the DJ Funkmaster Flex stuff, did you guys start those DJ CD things, or were those coming out before then?
No, I think ours was the first legalized one.
Right. Because I feel like that's the first I heard, where I was like, wow, what is this? And then, bang, there's massive floodgates open for that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's interesting, man. That's interesting. When we look at your career, I'm sure you've had many ups and downs, and where you go for peaks and troughs and stuff like that. Is there a group you would look at on that stable and think, do you know what, we could have probably done better, or like maybe they could have fulfilled their potential? They didn't fulfill their potential.
I talk about Dead Prez. I felt they could have probably been the biggest group I ever had.
You ever had? Bigger than Wu?
I really thought they were going to be big, right, but they were just so anti-establishment. And I think it was immaturity on my part, on their part. We couldn't get that trust. They looked at me as well. I mean, we're great now. They performed at the Loud 25. I wish we had the relationship now that we had then. If we had that relationship now, they would have been one of the biggest groups in the world.
Because when you look at it, you telling me there, it's about trust, and if you don't have it, yeah, man, it's always going to be an uphill struggle. Interesting you say Dead Prez, because that first album, yeah, man, that was crazy. London was going off on that album.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yes, you are rocking with the best. This is the one and only Just Blaze. Right now, you're checking out the Crate 808 podcast. Remember to hit up crate808.com, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Peace.
You were talking there about your writing down your memoirs. I mean, I'm here for a 9-episode Last Dance kind of thing, but for Loud. Could that happen for Netflix or anyone? Could that happen?
What, a documentary?
Oh, yeah, huge, yeah.
What, for me?
Yeah, for you, for Loud generally, that era.
We're talking about it. I mean, I hired and partnered up with a producer,
mm-hmm.
a guy by the name of Michael Ratner. So we're talking about it. And that's why, like I said, I'm writing memoirs down now and just see where it takes.
That's amazing, man. That would, be killer. Because we've all been to Rap Gods over here, and those shows have just been, kind of monumental. Could you ever see like a Loud Records tour of Europe? I mean, that would sell out, I'm sure. But like, could you ever see that?
I mean, we did it, right before the Corona hit. We did one in Radio City, and it was amazing. So if we could get the money right, we would definitely do it.
Bro, Jesus Christ, man! You would, I'm sure you'd recoup, but yeah, I mean, the people out here, there's a movement for it. This podcast proves it, man. We've only been around a year, but there's like so many people ready for this '90s renaissance, man. Yeah, them shows are killer. Just the lineups alone. Before we move on, then a question I ask everyone, and I don't know if you do lists, I don't know if you're happy to do lists, but you've worked with all these people. Could you? And this may change, obviously, every day. But do you have a top 5 MCs?
No, I can't.
I get this a lot.
I mean, if you take my artist out of it, there's Big, there's Jay, there's Pac, there's Wayne, and then if you go into the 80s, you have Big Daddy Kane that, nobody really knows. I mean, who he started it all off with Biggie and Jay. Right? So, but, in my era, like, say the 90s, you got Big, you got Pac, you got Snoop, you got Jay, and you got Nas. And then M came, I think, towards the end.
Yeah, and gave it a new boost, definitely, into the millennium, right?
So I need 6.
That works. That absolutely. And if anyone deserves 6, it's you, Steve. So
and no order. I mean, those are just, I forget when M came. I think M came in 98, 99. And I'm not including Pun, and I'm not including Raekwon.
Yeah, but I can tell they're close to your heart, man.
Yeah.
Did you, when you talk about M though? I mean, I heard that you were close to signing him. I heard you were close to signing Jay-Z. There's a lot of these stories that come around.
I'm not going to say close.
Mm-hmm.
I think with M, it was brought to me, but like I said, he wouldn't have been M if he was with us. He might have had a gold album because he's so brilliant.
Mm.
But it was him and Dre that just really had, the perfect storm. And then with Jay, I definitely wanted, but BMG wouldn't let me sign him.
Oh, snap. Jay would have fit to Loud, I think. I think Jay was kind of that.
But it wasn't, Jay is Jay, and Jay's amazing. But even before that, I was trying to sign Mike Geronimo, which Irv had. And the deal with Irv was we had to get the sample cleared, and then I wanted to bring Irv in as an A&R guy.
Oh, right. This is Irv Gotti, right?
This is Irv Gotti. So who knows what would have happened with Mike Geronimo, but with everything else, Irv would have had Ja Rule, he would have had Jay, he would have had the Rough Riders, and that, could have, so that's one where I think about all the time.
Yeah, man.
What would have happened if Irv teamed up with Matty and Free?
It would have been a takeover, man. It would have been a takeover.
I mean, it was the takeover. I mean, you're talking about you would have had Ja Rule, Jay-Z, DMX, all the Rough Rider stuff, and then all the Loud stuff and all the Rockefeller stuff.
Yeah, it's done. It's a done deal. That's it.
Yeah.
Damn. When you talk about Rough Riders, though, I mean, are you still managing DMX, or?
Yeah.
How is he doing? How is X doing?
He's great.
That's good, man. Is that new album on the way? I keep hearing rumblings. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's in Nashville now making it.
Perfect, man. Yeah, I'm ready for that. And it's good to see him like on Insta and stuff like that. And especially in this quarantine, I saw him the other day where he was reading from the Bible and stuff. And it's good to see him, man. It really is. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. So it's good to hear he's doing well. When he first came out, like, was there any other figure like that in any other genre? His
energy was just ridiculous.
2 killer albums in 12 months. Absolutely ridiculous, man. So Steve, man, before we go, we have a Wu-Tang Slept On Bangers playlist, right? So this is the Wu and their solo stuff. There's so much of it that some stuff gets swept under the carpet and maybe gets a little bit slept on. I'd love to know, what are your slept on Wu-Tang bangers? Could be from solo efforts as well. Is there any that come to mind that deserve a bit more love?
Inspector Deck's album.
Oh, Uncontrolled Substance.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, man. Still got some favourites. Some people still love that. Okay, I like it, man. Steve, thank you for jumping on. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. Hope you stay safe, man. And
you too. And thank you.
No, appreciate everything. And anytime, even if you want to promote anything that comes on, please jump back on. I'd love to talk to you a bit more. Before you do go, though, we ask everyone the same question. What's the last great piece of music you heard? Or it could be old, could be new, could be anything, but just the last great piece of music.
I heard Mobb Deep's album the other day.
Which one? Infamous?
The first one. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Hell on Earth is still my favourite, but yeah, no, I feel you, man.
What's your favorite?
Hell on Earth. That album to me is that shaped a lot of my childhood. P, yeah, man, poet, man, miss him as well. But thank you, Steve.
No worries, thank you.
And stay safe, and we will talk to you soon, hopefully. And keep smashing it, bro. Keep smashing it. Peace.
Good talking to you. Peace. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, this is Jerobi from A Tribe Called Quest, and you're listening to the Crate 808 podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, crate808.com. Go check it out. Peace.
Wowee. Well, what can you say to that? Steve Rifkind, Loud Records. We didn't even dig into the stuff he did after Loud Records. Yes, we got some time with him. He sounds like he's doing well. I am so looking forward to the next stuff he does. I'm sure all of you are as well out there. Yeah, man. Hope you enjoyed that. It was a pleasure just to sit down with Steve and do that. And hopefully it delivered some comfort to you guys as well as we're going through these chaotic times. Just leaves me with, man, thank you for listening, all of you guys out there. I appreciate all the feedback we're always getting, always positive. Love you guys for that, man. Please go out there, subscribe, rate, review, share, tell everyone that you know there's a podcast out there that does 90s hip-hop, man. And it's actually quite decent. If you think it's decent, obviously, don't lie. Don't lie to your mates or your mum or your dad or anyone. But, tell them the truth. But, yeah, anyway, stay safe. Keep it locked. We're going to keep coming at you with some more debates, some more interviews, some more reviews, some more Digging the Crates episodes. We're going to try to, keep this going. It's slowly taking over pretty much everything I do, but it's for the greater good, isn't it? Right, I shall catch you on the flip side. Stay safe, stay at home, wash them hands. Peace.